Are we rolling?
Press the clock.
Are we rolling?
Hi, Internet.
Hi, Internet. Well, prop show number 15. Good stuff. So I've done the what are they called?
The intro.
The intro, the titles.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah. We've got some mystery guests.
Go on then.
We've got some mystery guests.
Hi. Yeah. Go on then.
Roll VT. They're better than us.
Palava.
Anyway,
Palava.
who we got on the show this week?
Who we got on the show?
Two big in the game gamers.
I tell you what, big in the game. I tell you what, big in the game. We are actually booked up for guests to March.
Wow.
Stop it.
Yeah. So
On the
we got two of the
hashtag,
best in this week.
on that hashtag show.
I tell you what, we have got big in the game. We have got Kevin Ellis from that there
Hi, Kevin.
Land of New
Hi,
Homes.
hi, hi.
If
Hi,
there's
Kevin.
anything you need to know about new homes, he's the man.
He brought us some mugs too.
Oh yeah.
Merch, we love merch.
And
So-
the notebooks.
And some notebooks. I've got one of them in use. Look.
tell you what, and look at them. Talking of merch, Yomdal have sent us some socks.
Yay!
Boys. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
look, you can have a pair.
Oh,
I like the pink ones.
There
But
you go.
the
If
pink
you
ones
want
are
to
my
change
favourite.
the colours afterwards, we can.
We can have one of each. You can have odd socks.
It's
That's
actually
that's
really
the
helped
thing.
me in my Christmas shopping, so thank you.
Cheers, Yomdal. Cheers for the. That's Dad sorted.
Again, just tell me it's a new label.
And we've also got Adam.
Adam Day, and Adam Day was the big wig. He set up Hatch and he sold it for billions to Connells. And then,
Billions? What are you doing with us? Jesus.
okay, and he's worked for Easy Property and he's
Yeah.
worked for Tepelo, and he's recently just moved from eMove.
Who
So
are all online agents.
online estate agents. So I think.
Small snippets of what might be to
and
come.
I think he's going to be later in the show talking about his thoughts on the future of online estate agents.
Ooh, and
I
that
think
there
it's gonna-
purple brick.
And it's going to be a bit controversial. A bit
Okay,
cutting edge.
this is purely opinion. Our opinion, not fact. Okay. Just for legal reasons.
Okay, then. So
Okay,
there you go.
cool.
So we've got the two big in the games, biggest online agent in the world and the biggest new homes guy as well. So
Awesome.
That's the show.
Cool. Well, that's good then.
Should we go I mean, we've had a lot of questions in. Should we go straight to the Q&A?
We can
Yeah,
go.
why not?
You want to go straight to a Q&A?
Yeah.
So we don't ask the prop show.
I'll get you Fez.
Let's ask the prop show.
There you go.
Right. Fez is on. That means it's Q&A. Is it Q&A central today?
It's lots of questions.
So in terms of having two of estate agencies,
Biggest names.
biggest names, big in the game, we spoke just briefly a couple of seconds ago about
Off camera. In the green
well,
room.
about online.
In the green room. I like that.
So before we get into online agencies, pros and cons, all that sort of stuff, what are your thoughts, Kevin, and yours, Adam, in terms of how people should be structuring their websites? So even if they're not an online agent, if they're a Connells or a
Online websites.
yeah, so if they're a Winkworth or they're a Newt Fallowell or they're a Belvoir franchise or whatever, what are your thoughts about how they structure their websites? Adam,
We're just talking about their own websites.
their own websites first.
Go on then, Adam.
I think be individual. I think it's really important to be individual. You go look at a load of websites; they're all the same now. Remember what are you trying to attract? Are you trying to attract sellers? Are you trying to attract buyers? You know, the good old fashioned high street agency world. When I used to work on the high street, which I did, by the way,
Yeah.
just for a few years,
Yeah.
but a long time ago. But we used to
UK's first online estate agent.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Nice. Good
Well,
moniker.
UK's first online estate agent to be acquired.
Ah.
I was the second online estate agent.
Okay.
Yeah. Not,
So in terms of that, then, it's all well and good saying you need to be unique, you need to be different, you need to be doing something that sets you apart. What do you think would set you apart? Maybe a video. What do you think? No, in all seriousness, what? In all seriousness, what do shameless plug? Have we got the golden plug?
Where's the plug?
We haven't made.
We are everyone, mate.
No. What would you say would set you apart if you were building a brand new or redesigning website? What would it be?
if I was building a brand new, oh god, that's a good question. Video would be a great idea.
Oh, thanks. Well done. Well played.
No, I do think that, you know, in my local town, there's no one doing video. There's no one giving me any information about the local property market.
Yeah.
I get the odd leaflet through from an agent. I know
Yeah.
which agent it is. I remember the agent.
Yeah.
Because I get a monthly newsletter through from them.
Right,
Brilliant.
yeah.
So it's, you know, it's a clever piece of marketing. That just, it doesn't ever ask for anything in return. It just gives me.
What does
gives
that
me
newsletter
stuff.
talk about?
The local market.
Okay.
Just housing or the general place? Or...
Did you write that?
I was going to say.
And he says, I'm shameless.
You whore.
Unbelievable.
Too true.
Kevin, what would you do if you were starting a new agency? We had a lady come see us to be on one of our video courses. FYI, there's another one.
Oh, there is. Link below.
Link below. So we had a lady come up from Portsmouth who started a new agency, Katie Dark. She's doing awesome things with video. Hi, Katie.
She is. Yeah.
I sent her a video. Well done the other day. What would you do if you were starting fresh, and you were building your website? What would you do?
I think I would be setting a decent enough budget to do it. I think there's too many agents that are just spending 2 or 3, 5 grand on a formulaic template website.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way forward.
Yeah.
I think when you then look at what some agents are spending on Rightmove a month, you know, just the spend on extras.
What is that?
They could get a web.
Roughly, do you think?
It's about £900, £800 a month for the
No,
basics.
for basics.
Yeah.
What is it? So the advanced
the
package.
optimizer, well, whatever they call it this week, you can shelling out a couple of grand a
You
month.
could be a couple of grand. a month
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
And I think that when agents are spending that money, they're not putting the same money into their own online offering.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're not treating it like another office, and it should be a revenue generating office.
Right.
So moving on then from websites and
Well, hold on a minute. Do you know, I had a good. These guys here, Andy from Yomdal. We used Yomdal at one of my previous businesses. I won't say which
what
one,
do they do, Adam?
Andy sent me a personalised video. So we signed up to Yomdal service. And I got a video emailed to me saying, "Hi Adam, Andy here. Thanks very much for using us. We're really looking forward to working with you."
I like
And
that.
whatever
Feel
else he
good.
said. That was brilliant.
Well, we've touched
said
on that
this.
before.
We've said this, haven't we?
My car went in for a service not so long ago, and I didn't meet the guy, but the mechanic sent me a video of underneath the car
Yeah.
because, like,
Have you got an Audi by any chance?
well, it's VW, but
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So, but it was nice to see what they'd done and where the work was, and it was only 20 seconds, but it was that interaction that I wouldn't normally get with. I mean, I know a fair bit about cars, but you know, not fixing a sump or a whatever, and then my missus knows even less.
Yeah.
You know, it's the thing.
Well, Stephen Brown's very good at that. You know, we all know Stephen Brown. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah.
She wears the crumble. It's there actually.
You've got the
It's
crumble
right
on.
there. But no, Stephen Brown's very good at that. Every time he has a positive interaction with people, he's very, very good at sending people just, thanks ever so much for the day. We had a great time, blah, what have you. And it's really nice, personal thing to do. But I think, again, that's something that makes
People
you
like
stand
people.
out. You know, we've said, that Stephen Brown does that. We've mentioned him because it does stand, it sticks in your mind, doesn't
Yeah.
it? As a
Would you
thing.
get that from an email?
No.
No,
You
why
wouldn't.
don't estate agents send a video to their customers on WhatsApp?
Well, they could do.
No, it's
They
not
could
that.
even have a destination film made about their place.
Oh, for God's sake, we keep dropping these bombs in. So
I'm messing
bottom.
with overflow.
Moving to- What else? on
Speaking, no, but we were just going back to, we were talking about Rightmove then.
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
we've had a question in about agents maybe not doing Rightmove for a month in December.
It's like a
As a sort
stoptober.
of stop-tober.
Sorry.
Is this up to
Yeah.
Christmas Day, so it kicks in from Boxing
I
Day?
don't know. What are your thoughts
Basically,
on
okay, just for those of you that have not been living in a cave, there is talk from some estate agents that they are going to remove all their properties from Rightmove in December as a way of proving
Like a protest? or-
protest.
Yeah.
What for? Price hike?
Because the
just
prices
set their own prices.
Yeah, they get a brand bucket and pick some numbers out.
Well,
So
yeah,
that's
but
what
at the
charge
same
them.
time, though, you have to also remember,
Yeah, we did
we
say.
do say this, right? You know, just for balance, yeah.
Well, let them answer
no,
it.
but we have to say for balance, the cost of Rightmove
Let him
versus
answer.
what we are.
You're f***ing good at video. Let him talk.
Adam Carroll. I'm trying to add balance.
That would be a terrible decision for an estate agent to make.
Excellent.
Hey!
Why would it be a terrible decision?
Because the estate agent is acting on behalf of the customer.
Yeah.
And if you're reducing your advertising on behalf of that customer, then you're not doing the job properly for them.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit wider. Well, that's the number one reason. It should be the only reason. But from an online estate agent perspective that I've been doing for the last 10, 12 years, I actually think by boycotting Rightmove and maybe trying to force their hand in terms of reducing their fees, you're going to help the online agents.
Yeah.
What do you mean, out the online agents?
So the online agents are on what's called a geographical pricing model, and it's probably the biggest cost to an online estate agent. Probably more so than staff. In some, especially with the self-employed model that Purple Bricks and the like have got.
How much do you think it's costing these big boys then?
I
What, tens of thousands? And the rest?
Hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
A month.
A month.
Yeah,
Wow.
a month. Yeah,
Well,
I reckon.
Sounds
I
like your
reckon.
champagne bill there, Mr. Whacky.
It's my opinion. I don't know. I've not seen the numbers
No,
of those bigger companies, but I would say in the hundreds of thousands.
Wow, that's a lot.
month.
That's
So
a lot of money.
so if the agent fraternity force Rightmove to reduce their fees, they're going to reduce their fees for the online agents, and those online agents are going to plough money into marketing
Yeah.
and just gather more market share. So.
Yeah.
And then you look at Rightmove and you think, well, the newspaper I used to advertise in when I was in the high street was £1,500 a month.
Yeah.
350
And
quid
how
a
long
week.
ago was that?
12, 15 years ago.
Well, 1,500 quid 12 years ago is probably worth two and a half
Yeah,
grand
that's
now,
right.
isn't it?
That's right, and that's what we say about Rightmove, because there is cost, but there does need to be balance. We do have to remember that newspaper advertising in the day was as costly, if not more costly, than Rightmove is today.
But the genius thing about Rightmove is you actually get the leads. You don't know if someone's reading the newspaper 15 years ago.
True.
But now you're getting the leads in, all these emails
It's
coming in.
created like a level playing field. I mean, what's your thoughts, Kevin? Is there anything you want to add to this?
No, I think the overall thing with Rightmove is that the agents are probably paying too much money on the extras.
That's
Do
what
they,
you've said
do
before.
they really
Like
need
featured
it?
Yeah, do they need it?
Yeah, I think you've got to just take an
Microsites.
analysis and say,
You might as
you
well
know,
put
how
your
much.
10 quids in the shredder.
Yeah.
Well, but there must be some benefit to it. Otherwise, people wouldn't do it.
Well, I think
See
it would probably be used as a leverage from an agent going and talking to a vendor or a house builder that they do these things.
Yeah,
Well, maybe their competitor doesn't.
yeah. But that's...
But actually, there isn't a real intrinsic return and value on that. I wouldn't have said.
I was at the EA Masters and
Back once again for the EA Masters.
and when Peter Knight was on stage and the guy from Rightmove was on stage, he actually said, I can't remember the exact number, but it was definitely over 30% of leads that come into an estate agent through Rightmove don't even get touched.
What, just bad planning?
No. Let's say a lead comes in,
Yeah.
I want to view a property or something like that, they don't even respond to it.
Lazy
Why?
estate agency.
Yeah.
That's why online agents are gathering pace as well, because they're good at that sort of stuff. They've got sales teams dedicated to picking up those leads and farming them all.
But that's something like Repeat or Fixed Flow or something like that can help with, isn't it?
Well, it comes into the system, so you get the leads that will come into the system every day.
Yeah.
But somebody's still got to make sure they make that call.
Of course.
So my background was Romans, and we had a call centre team, and where was a team deliberately set up for inbound inquiries, and then a team for outbound inquiries. Well, the Rightmove leads, when we first launched it, it was right when the market hit the skids. And as directors, we all made a commitment that on a Friday night we would do the Friday night session. So we were saying that we were open until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And but the leads would come through, and literally in less than a minute, we'd have had a viewing booked.
Really?
Yeah, we'd have been straight on it.
So is that? Sorry, go on.
Well, traditional agents, the one office outfits, the 2-3 office outfits, they'll say that we haven't got the budget of Romans, we haven't got the budget of Purple Bricks or the online agents, but you can still do it. You have one person dedicated to those portal leads, or 2 afternoons a week, or whatever it might be, where you're absolutely hammering those leads. And
But that's what I was going to say. Is that bad man management then? That they're paying for this system, yet they're not using it properly.
It is, because I was with an agent last week, and they I said to them about performance. They're talking about the breakdown of the staff they got, etc. And I said, do you monitor the calls? So any modern phone system now, you can monitor inbound and outbound calls.
Training purposes.
No surprises. You've got the top neg who's making the most amount of call, and the length of time that he's on that outbound call is 3 minutes, whatever it may be. So actually, when you then start analysing the stats, because people don't, they just they think they're busy.
Yeah.
And then when they start analysing it,
Yeah.
there is a perfect sort of point there really of like, there's no bloody excuse not to be calling these leads, but it's not managed. It's not managed in most agents properly.
So do you think people are blaming Rightmove or the online agents for their woes, when in reality it's just they're not taking personal responsibility for the running of their own offices?
No.
I think there's a lot of that. I think there's some really standout agents in the high streets, really good ones. So for every agent that's moaning about the market at the moment, there'll be an agent in the town that will be doing all right.
But look
they
at
are,
Luke
because they've
Sinclair.
got-
Is it
Leicester. Look at Luke Sinclair and Leicester.
Is it mindset? It's just mindset, isn't it?
Well, every market makes a market.
Of course it does.
So you've got to get on the phones. You've got to make it happen. And I think
prospect.
If you went to one town today and said to every agent, "How are they doing?" Okay, yes, the market's different. It's changing, but there'll be one agent in that town that will definitely be stand out and and doing well.
They'll be doing something different though, won't they, Kevin? They'll be doing something different. They'll be trying something new. They'll be following up on their leads. They'll be doing stuff.
They'll just be relentless.
That's basics.
No, it is basics. But,
Yes.
but there have always been, regardless of your market, more than one solicitors, more than one accountants, more than one videographer, more than one photographer. You have to set yourself apart. You have to stand yourself out. And a lot of people we've worked with, we've been very fortunate over the last sort of 18 months to be working with some really standout agents and some really progressive agents. And we have to look at what Matt and Ella are doing at Orchards in Yeovil. You have to look at what Luke's doing with Love Oadby, what Adam Mackay's doing with Love Sawbridgeworth, what Lorraine is doing, what Matt and Summer at Newman's doing. They come on a course. They've barely touched us in terms of interaction. But they're absolutely flying.
But they're getting the basics right as well.
They're getting the basics right. They're doing the basics, and then what they're doing is they're standing themselves apart. Which is exactly what you've been saying.
I think there's a lot of estate agents out there that are trying to grab new gimmicks to try and bring new business in, when in reality it's they've got a leaky sieve out the bottom.
Yeah, I agree,
Basically do the basics well, and then stay with the marketing plan and drive business through. What's the next one?
Well, we were going to touch on how your share price was doing, actually, Chris.
What share price is that, Chris?
Is it in just countrywide?
Yeah, at the time of filming, it was 10.26p.
Yes. So that leads us on to, because we ask our guests,
Non-early retirement.
Yes, a non-early retirement for Christoph. Because we were saying that this is a
Bastard.
this is a thing, because this is going back to some of these points that we've raised. What would you do? What would you do, Adam? What would you do, Kevin, if you were sort of trying to work out where that...
Remember, these guys big in the game. We've got ex-Romans director, and we've got ex-online agent who's been boss through everything. Come on, these guys...
What would you do? What would you do with Countrywide?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go.
And you can picture
what would I do? I think that, look, within the stable of Countrywide, there's some really great brands.
There are.
And great people.
And some really good
fantastic
people.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think they've lost their way a bit.
Yeah.
Okay? I think the breakdown in the staff maybe of what they've got coming in, obviously there's a high turnover, so there's a lot of churn maybe going on. Mm-hmm. I think they've just got to get back to being what they were always very good at. They were relentless on training. They were relentless on they were innovative.
Yeah.
And I think they're missing a big trick with the Hamptons brand. I really do. I think that's such a quality brand in there that in their overall offering, it's not there.
What do you do, Adam? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I think the innovation thing is the big thing for me. I think they have got some great brands, but they've also some really dated brands as well. That I'll go on their website, I'm not going to name which brand it is, but go on the website and it's very,
Yeah, but they were quite innovative because they set up an online package, but they ran it alongside their high street.
It's the biggest mistake they made.
Yeah, massive mistake.
Biggest mistake. Because why would you use their high street offering when you can get the same service, or so it seems,
perception
for $9.95? Yeah,
should have set up a fighter brand.
Let's have let's cut to a quick interview with Ed Mead, shall we?
Yeah.
Talking
about Countrywide. He used to be big in the game, and then
let's have a chat with Ed.
What would you do if you were the MD and CEO of Countrywide? Do you want to answer that one?
No, I'm perfectly happy to answer that one. I mean, I think that I've been one of the few people that sort of publicly commented that I think there's an awful lot for Countrywide to do yet in terms of their expertise, experience, knowledge within the business. Yes, sure, they've lost a bit in the past, but any company that comes together and puts lots of big brands together like they've done, there's always going to be a lot of senior management that's going to be in excess. So there was a lot of talk about getting rid of a lot of expertise. And of course, the people who they got rid of had a lot of expertise. They may have gone a little bit too far. But I think that if I was going to be the MD of Countrywide now, I would want to actually make sure that the Countrywide brand itself is used better, because the odd thing about obviously they have lots of great brands, John D. Wood, Hamptons, Best Areas, all sorts of really good names. But no one out there in the country has ever heard of Countrywide. They've heard of Connells, they probably know who LSL are, but they don't know about Countrywide. So when they launched their digital brand, which I think was an important part of what they were going to be doing for the future, they made a mistake, I think, in branding it as the local agent.
And I think so right.
And I think that they had an opportunity to have a national brand which they could launch as Countrywide Digital, whatever it was, which would have given everyone...
Fighter brand or something.
Yeah, it would have given everyone a really good feeling. And I think that the future, I would definitely want to see them changing their communications, modernising them. They've got the wherewithal to do it. I mean, I know the share price is at an all-time low, and I felt they were a good buy at £1, so I've been receiving some stick in social media about the fact that they're now at about 40p or something.
This video is being filmed in July, so God knows what it is when we go.
Well, it may have changed by then, but I think they've got so much expertise within the brand that if they can listen to someone on the communication side and relaunch the digital brand using the Countrywide image, I think, using the Countrywide name, I think they would go a long way towards solving their problems.
Okay. What, in terms of bringing cash in, or just making profit, or just both, really? I mean,
I think they're well on the way to making more of a profit, because I know that it was like turning the super tank around. It was always going to overshoot, and I think they've been receiving a lot of stick for that. The guys there are showing more listings, and I think that they're giving power back to the offices. I think the mistake they made before was taking the power away from the offices and saying, no, we're going to do all that for you centrally.
So you're actually seeing now, whilst we're filming this in the summer of 2018, the Countrywide tanker is turning around, but we just obviously it takes months for these numbers to come through publicly.
Well, if you look at the figures, they're showing that their listings are up. I think 9% up in the last quarter. There's plenty of positive message from that, and if people in the offices have been given the power to do what they need and the resource to do what they need,
and you've heard that they're getting that, are they?
Well, that was certainly the intention. And a lot of the people that I've been meeting and talking to who are quite interesting are a part of the 150 that were the middle management, and where they were trying to centralise a lot of their output or a lot of their ideas. A lot of those people have been binned and everything's been handed back to the branches.
Okay, so you've handed the power back to the branches. Is there anything else that you would do?
Well, I think the future of agency is about choice, and I think people need to be... punters need to know that they've got a good brand behind whatever they've got some substance behind the brand.
Amazing brands.
Well, there are some amazing brands, and I just think that to make people aware of the power behind the brand and to give them a choice of saying you can either have a do-it-yourself service and here's the full service and this is what it's going to cost you.
So have you seen some brands come together then?
Well, you're already seeing that in London. I mean, Farron Satara and John D. Wood were joined together under the John D. Wood brand. They've increased the size. The John D. Wood brand is a great brand. It may compete directly with Hamptons in London. I mean, you might think, well, why would you have two brands like that? It seems they're just competing with each other.
But there's plenty of other brands out there, and let's be a bit of healthy competition never hurt anyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think they've got so many good brands and so much good knowledge within their brands that I think, provided they have the right direction, the right direction is not to go back to the future. You've got to look at what's happening, and I think some of what Alison and the team have done was really brave in terms of setting up the digital branding and all this sort of stuff. I just don't think that the marketing was thought through. Perhaps
so
could have been.
Basically, you would have done what Alison would have done with regard to digital branding, but done it under a different brand.
I've done it under Countrywide brand.
Yeah, Countrywide brand,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, would have brought it all together. And what you're saying is what they're doing right is giving power back to the branches will eventually come through and make things good. Probably people should be buying shares.
Well, that's what I said a few months ago to Pan, which is why I'm receiving a load of stick now. As I said, this is July 2018, so maybe a very different story by now. But no, I think that's what I would do. I think that the digital brand, I think people in the future just want choice, and Countrywide do have the resources to experiment a bit with this stuff, which is what they were doing. I just don't think it was necessarily carried through in completely the right way.
Good stuff, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
So you see,
Interesting.
I'm going to end Ask the Prop Show because I'm getting hot under my
Ditch the
fence.
fez.
But yeah, so interesting points raised. Interesting points raised there. Do you want to find out what our man on the ground's thinking?
Who, Stephen Edgware?
Yeah, let's
Go on then,
find out.
let's go, Steve.
Steve says! It's a great day to make a video.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Mm.
So in
like
terms
that feature,
of
I like the feature, but you're supposed to run it by me.
never. So Kevin, you're clutching something. What is
you got on the show?
Well, I've got two things. I've got some one-dome glasses.
Oh,
yeah. Put it down against the
everyone has to have a pair of one domes.
Okay.
One-dome! Okay, so cheers, one dome for
There you
that. So you'll be taking a pair of exciting one dome glasses away with you for your car.
And they are
So-
actually EU regulated.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
UV regulated, not
Yes.
EU regulated.
I'm not sure it's going to have the prescription lens in it that I need, so I'm sort of slightly fearful.
Just bang them
about
over the
that
top.
Yeah, I do.
Bang 'em over the top.
I just want to say thank you for Sanjay and Hayley at Moss Properties for their cups. It's very nice.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Would you like one of? Would you like
Oh,
one
thanks
of
very
ours?
much.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Landon
Yeah,
Homes
there we go.
Network.
Okay, sorry,
much.
Kevin.
Sorry.
What firm is that?
It's a really fast-growing network called the Land in Your Homes Network, which I happen to have founded.
Oh,
Tell us more.
okay.
Tell us more.
Tell us more. Yeah.
What do? You deal specifically with new builds then?
So
or-
we work with non-competing independent estate agents across the UK,
Okay.
and the whole ethos for us as a network is it's all about collaboration, and they can't compete in any way, shape, or form.
I like that.
So
Branch
one
over
per
that.
town.
One per town. But
Interesting model.
we're also looking at the sort of the growth model, the growth that business might have.
Yeah.
So there's sort of
Yeah.
wider reach. So that nothing overlaps. But what we found is that independent agents are really, when collaboration is done well, it's immensely powerful.
Yeah.
Idea sharing, but particularly with house builders. And we talked, earlier on about Countrywide.
Yeah.
Before I set the business up, I did a big piece of research with house builders of what they liked about agents, what they didn't like.
Yeah.
Right.
And what they found they liked with the corporates, they liked buying land from them because they were able to buy land, but maybe they didn't like their properties being sold by them because the brands were maybe trading in a low to mid market rather than a solid mid to upper.
Right. Okay.
Which the profile of our network is all about being a good, they've got to be a market leader.
Marks and Spencer's or a Waitrose agent.
That's
Humberts.
of course, Humberts.
Well,
Foxtons.
probably a bit more posh than that.
Savills.
Good at video.
Yeah.
Shit at marketing. Carry on.
So
Fine and country.
Yay! That's a similar network.
I
of
make
agents.
video.
yeah.
Go on.
The difference for us as a network is, we're ultimately opening up a black book to house builders, and
cool.
our network is only as good as its weakest link. So we're not trying to fill an agent in every single town. Of course, we'd like your business if you like to come on board. But for us, it's quality rather than quantity.
And they sign up for a year then, do they? Or
Okay,
what is-
what exactly does the Land and New Homes Network do for agents then?
So we give them all of the tools, systems, processes, resources to be able to mobilise a Land and New Homes offering from dot. Okay.
Because after the show, I'm going to be interviewing Kevin with all his top tips.
Oh, cool.
Well,
So
and I have a few top tips.
9 winning
Hey,
ways.
there you go.
9 winning ways to
How
build
do
your
they
Land
get
and New
that?
Homes.
Is this digitally available?
We have it as an ebook.
Do you?
We
Excellent. Do we
And
have
how
a
do-
link, Kevin?
No, well, go on, Kevin. Go on, tell him.
Click on the LNH Network website. So it's lnhnetwork.co.uk. And you can have one of these.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Like it.
Great. That's right.
Okay.
Can I have
Okay.
this one?
You can have it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Nine
Shall we ask what
winning
Adam does?
Yeah, we're coming to Adam. Okay. We weren't going to leave him out.
Adam, what freebies
Adam,
have you got?
No, Adam. What? So we were talking earlier about online agents.
Yep.
And we sort of alluded to the fact that we were going to talk a bit with you about their validity
This is pretty good.
and everything else.
It's very good. I've read it.
Don't interrupt. Talk to us a bit about your background, what you're looking to push forward, and also, what your perception now is of online agents, having worked for some of the biggest ones.
Well, so I'm unemployed now.
Oh, did you make any video? Because we need staff.
We do this stuff.
Have you got some change? We've got some loose change.
Yeah.
You're just a statistic.
Yeah.
I'm just a statistic. Yeah. I've loved my time with all the online agents and all of that. Being in all the individual businesses. I don't agree. I fundamentally disagree with charging everything up front.
Right.
It's more that evolved model from 2014 when Purple Brick started, where they charge everything up front. All the other online agents before that were charging a little bit up front and a little bit at the end. And I felt that was a much fairer model for the estate agent and for the owner because you both had skin in the game.
Yeah.
I was getting covered my costs for the marketing, but I was still having to sell the property to see any more.
I was going to say you have to deliver, whereas a lot of the feedback we get online now is Purple Bricks, they get a lump sum or whatever, and then do they actually care about the property?
And they don't care.
No.
They don't care. I offered a property recently, through one of those online agents and never got a single call back from anybody.
Oh, really?
I got one little notification from the vendor saying I was now going to auction, but no call from the agent, the negotiator, to say, why do you want to increase your offer? This is when I had a job and I could get a mortgage, so I can't remember. But no contact whatsoever.
So going back to your original point you mentioned before about the fact that the online guys are way better at picking up leads and converting them and making the calls, but then some online guys are not doing that then.
Well, no, they're great at picking up the leads when someone's going to sell their house.
Right.
But they're possibly not quite so good at selling the house.
Gotcha.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Not in when I had hatched, that was completely different. We were brilliant at all that, and it was a very different model back then that we created, and Purple Bricks have come along and changed the model again and evolved it in, obviously they think for the better, but I think for the worse, because it's very hands off, it's all up front. It's not right for the customer. It's not right for the agent either.
No.
And for the industry, is it good that they've come along? Have they shaken it up in a way that, okay, they've got, what was it, how much percentage market share they got? 2 or 3% of their total?
No, according to Adam, probably about 7-ish%.
Okay, so 7. But
7, 6.
do you think that's...
You think, although you did have to say earlier on, probably
the top 10 online agents, I reckon, have about 7.5%.
Right. Okay.
What, together,
The
collectively?
top 10. And then you've got all these online agents based in towns that just cover one town rather than national. As one of the things that Simon Bradbury always talks to me about is, what is an online agent? Aren't we all online agents?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not. What is an online? An online agent for me is somewhere you can have a self-service dashboard for the vendor, and so high street agents aren't online agents because they've got a website, but they don't have a dashboard where you can self-serve.
It's an interpretation of
That's how I would consider an online agent.
Just need to pop out.
Oh, this is
I need to pop out.
the third guest.
It's a special third guest.
We've got a special guest for you this week. We've got a new colleague at PVS Towers, and his name's Clark. And
I tell you what, top bloke.
Yeah, top bloke.
Had to pay lots of money to bring him in.
Very cute. Yes.
Yeah, very good.
He's a property expert.
Here's Clark.
Property expert. He's a property expert. So this is Clark. Say hi, internet. Hi, internet. Clark is going to be our is our show dog. He's our show dog. Check him out.
So we're going to be posting about Clark in the coming weeks.
So he now lives here. So not only do you get to meet the big dog himself and have great interaction with us, you get to see this guy.
Bless.
Bonus.
It's like a de-stress on a Monday.
Right. So Clark's going to stay in here for a minute.
Good stuff.
But yes. So awesome. So Adam, in terms of what are you doing now?
What are you looking to do now?
What are you looking to do now?
Well, I'm probably going to go out on my own in some capacity. I think with the experience that I've got, I could probably add a whole load of value to traditional agents who are looking to digitise their operation. How do they compete with the online agents without just dropping their pants on fees?
Yeah.
How do they maintain that fee level, create efficiencies through digital marketing?
Would you go into a business as like a troubleshooter then and show them how to use the whole offering?
I tell you what, he was telling me in there, he's gone in and saved thousands of pounds.
Oh, so your day rate's saving them money and making you money and that kind of thing,
reducing
like...
costs through efficiency and online tech and stuff like that, but increasing their costs.
You must see that all the time, Cody.
You must.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must.
Absolutely.
How can people get hold of you?
They'll have to send me a text message on my mobile number.
Have you got an email?
I'll give you a call.
Is that the job then?
We'll give him a call. So you can give you a call, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Just give us the number after the show. We'll put it in. All right.
Cool.
I'll get me on LinkedIn as well. You can get me
You can get him on LinkedIn as well. So on
That'd be too
LinkedIn.
long.
It won't. We can do him a special tiny URL thing.
No one clicks on those.
Yeah, they do. Right. Well, that's it for the show.
Oh no, we do ask some standard questions, like for both of you. What's the one thing you would change about the industry?
Oh, yeah.
Like if someone said there's a magic wand,
Yes.
what would you love to see happen? Whether it's
It's a good job we got him, isn't it?
no, I'll follow all the good things. So like an Australia version or American thing, would you nick something from their markets, or would you think actually we're doing this really well? I'd like to see that pushed out, or if I'd get rid of this or create this. What would you do? Putting you on the spot.
I'm all about the tech. It's all about and collaboration.
Right.
I would get all the conveyancers and all the land reg people and all of those people in a room and say, how do we make this process more efficient from when we agree a sale to get?
Because it can take a long time.
It's just, and there's technology out there that you can do that. You should be able to get an instant mortgage offer.
Yeah.
You should be able to get instant searches. All
Yeah.
this stuff that doesn't happen, and yet we're in 2018. And
Yeah,
we're in
yeah.
a tech world, and I've been
It's
peddling
still
this
not
for 12,
happening.
it's still not happening.
Maybe
It's
that's
just
something
crazy.
for some of the big tech boys to
Well, Land Reg have got a really good project going on at the moment.
Yeah.
They're trying to pull everyone together. I went to a seminar the other day about it, and it looks really, really interesting.
That's
So
good
what
then.
they're doing, and so a couple of years away, but yeah, they're trying to pull everyone together. That's good.
Fantastic.
Kevin, what
Kevin,
about
what would
you?
you do?
I think agents need to diversify more. I really think that
Yeah.
Within the industry?
Yeah, I think within the industry, I think our analysis again shows that agents just aren't squeezing the lemon where they are.
Right.
I think there's a load more market share. Well, the marginal gains they get a market share. As Adam said, obviously get the digital offering right. But there's hundreds of planning applications going on in agents' area, and half of them haven't even got a clue anything about them.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that's going to happen in whatever the market's going to do, construction is going to carry on building.
Of course.
So,
of course. Well, we need more homes. What was the stat?
Britain needs 240,000 to stand still, and we're only building 200 at the moment, 210.
So we're 30,000 houses short a year.
Well, that last year was a good year. It's been as low as 160, 170.
Yeah.
The last time we hit the housing target number, Jive Bunny was number one in the charts.
Remember Jive
I love the Jive Bunny.
The Master Mix.
Was that
There you
That's
go.
80s, right?
Yeah.
Come on, everybody.
There you go.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks a million.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks a million for coming
Thanks
on the
for coming on the
show.
show.
Thanks for coming on the
Cheers,
show.
buddy.
So
Thanks,
from
Clark.
us and from Clark, it's a massive shalom.